Hey guys, what's going on? PrideOfLDN here. You guys know what to do. As always, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for all the support recently. The views have been going up and up and up since I've been coming back. So yeah, I do thank you guys for the support. Remember to leave a like, comment down below your opinion on all these topics, and I really do appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about a couple things. The first thing I want to talk about is news regarding our January transfer window sort of policy, and how we're going to approach this January transfer window, which is coming up, you know, in a few days, close to like 4 or 5 days. So, January, we know that our main targets are going to be Erling Haaland and Declan Rice. Both have been reported fairly reliably from journalists that we trust, so you can expect that to be quite true. Those two will be our targets. I have heard that over the past few days, Erling Haaland has gone above Declan Rice in the priority list, but that bit of news that I heard, I'm not too certain on the validity of it, so we'll just say they're both even for now. We'll go in with that. So January, we obviously need to address certain issues within our squad. We've spent a lot of money in the summer, so we know that we've got, you know, a young core of a squad that over the next few years is going to be able to compete for the biggest honours. However, there is still slight problems. At the moment, we've got problems with players being out of form and injury. So we've got Ziyech being injured. We had Pulisic out for a long time. Of course, now Havertz and Timo Werner are pretty bad out of form. And those are two of our new signings. So we need them to sort of, you know, eventually start contributing a bit more than they have been. Even though, you know, Timo does have a good few goals and assists. Havertz, not so many numbers-wise in goals and assists, but has been good in playmaking roles at times, but still not good enough for me personally. So we need to address something. Do we target Erling Haaland or Declan Rice? Personally, I think bringing in Erling Haaland is a not once in a lifetime, but you get what I mean. Like it's now or never, it feels like, because Erling Haaland at Dortmund is going to move soon. We know that. Dortmund aren't really afraid to sell their talented players because they know that they can, you know, pick one out from another club like Man City, like a Chelsea or something that's in the youth system, pay a minimal amount, develop them because they're not afraid to play these young players, and then they'll be able to sell them on for profit again and get a good few years out of them in terms of goal scoring and helping them compete. So Dortmund, they're usually available to sell, but it will be at a big price. We know Erling Haaland is a top talent, and there's going to be a lot of clubs after him. If we wait till the summer transfer window, he might not be available. So personally, I think we should push for him. Declan Rice, whilst he is somewhat, you know, sought after from certain clubs, Arsenal I think was one that was interested in him, but they've signed Thomas Partey now. So are they going to go in for Declan Rice? I wouldn't think so. I'm sure there's other clubs around the world that are interested in him, but given how much of a link we have to him and how, you know, we've heard that he wants to come back to Chelsea, his family's a lot of Chelsea links, all that sort of stuff, I think we might be safe in allowing him not to join us in this January transfer window, and then maybe in the summer pursuing him. Whereas Erling Haaland, I feel like every transfer window you're thinking he's going to go, someone's going to come in for him. So personally, I would go with Erling Haaland. It's iffy because we've had, you know, Declan Rice would be a midfielder who would help us have a little more stability at the back, and would learn off N'Golo Kante and hopefully become a sort of defensive midfielder like Kante, that has the work rate, has the tackling, has the press, but also has the ability to pass forward and is obviously a lot taller, a lot bigger, so is an aerial threat as well. Those are the areas he improves us. And Erling Haaland, obviously an insane goal-scoring machine at the moment. Tammy is in pretty decent form. Giroud is in pretty decent form. Timo not in good form, although we're playing him as a winger, so I don't know how much that relates. But bringing Erling Haaland in essentially would mean that like Giroud would probably take a back seat, and it would be Tammy and Haaland that were sort of, you know, switching in and out. And hopefully if Haaland can bang in goals like he has been so far in his career, it would just be Haaland in that starting spot, and Tammy would be like trying to push and improving himself into getting a starting role there. Because we know Giroud is going to be leaving probably at the end of this season, so it doesn't make so much sense for us to keep playing him and end up losing Tammy, who is a good player and has improvements to do, don't get me wrong, but has the core of a good player and can definitely improve to be a top striker. So the message is from Chelsea transfer chief Marina Granovskaia. She will only give Frank Lampard the green light to make one signing in the January transfer window after splashing the cash this summer. So There we go, it's one or the other, and that's come from Marina. This has been reported by The Express. The source is always in the description for you guys to check. But there we go, so we know that we're only going to be getting one, and for me, it has to be Erling Haaland. You're not going to get that many chances to sign someone like Erling Haaland, so I think you have to go in for him when he's available. Once he moves to a Real Madrid, a Man City, a Barcelona, or a Bayern Munich, you're not going to get him. He's going to stay there unless there's some crazy, fallout like a Gareth Bale, where he ends up not being happy at one of those clubs, and then maybe you can get him, but his wages are going to be up here, and his career is pretty much settled then. So in that scenario, I think Declan Rice, whilst he could go to a big club like that, Erling Haaland is at much more risk of being snapped up, so I think we target Erling Haaland personally. Our starting line then is insanely solid. Erling Haaland is sort of the opposite to a Timo Werner. Timo Werner has a lot of good qualities to him, however, is the kind of guy that needs maybe 3 or 4 chances to score one. Haaland is the opposite. He can make something out of nothing. Then moving on to just the second topic that I wanted to discuss in today's video, and that's essentially, of course, we lost to Arsenal 3-1. Should have been 3-2 thanks to Jorginho, but it wasn't, and the penalty and Saka's insane cross that happened to be a goal. All things considered, even though those goals happened and they maybe had a hint of fortune about them, we lost that game because of a poor performance. And I've seen a lot of my comment section is Lampard out at the moment. I quite firmly am not. I've told myself that Roman Abramovich and Lampard and Marina and Petr Cech, all the board, we set up a 3-year plan when we were going into this summer transfer window. Year 1 was to stabilise. Year 2 was to push ahead, get towards that sort of challenger for the title scenario. And then year 3 is to properly challenge for it. And I've said that I'm giving Frank Lampard those 3 years no matter what. As a Chelsea fan, I am bitterly sick of the situation of bringing a good manager, a Sarri, a Conte, all the managers that we had. We had Mourinho for his second stint. And you bring them in, and then they do good for a season, and then next season they drop down a little bit. Good form doesn't last forever. You drop down, and then bang, they're gone. Next manager, bring them in. I hate that system because it always brings us these moments of instability. There's times afterwards where the club isn't feeling settled. There's managers that are always trying to bring in, they're like, oh, I don't like these 5 players that you signed over the last 2 years. I don't want them. I want these new 4, these new 5. And it just creates a whole circle of players having to get pushed out because they don't suit a manager's play style. And then new players have to be brought in, and we're spending money, and then another manager goes, you got to pay him off like we did with Conte. That was a long-winded issue that, Conte thought he was deserved money. That was a whole issue for the club. And then, players getting pushed out by Conte. Conte used Victor Moses. Now Lampard has no interest in him, so his career stagnating. I'm so sick of that scenario, so I don't think I will be Lampard out, unless we end up, like a Mikel Arteta with Arsenal, like, what, they're 14th now, maybe? That scenario, then yes, but realistically, we're not that bad off. If you look at our position, how close points-wise we are to 4th, how close we are to 1st, it's not that bad. We get a win against Aston Villa, and it looks a lot better. We'll be up there and abouts for the Champions League spots. I do think that is our goal still, is to finish in that top 4, ideally push, 3rd, 2nd, and get close to 1st. But, there's a long season ahead. We're still not even halfway, and it's very silly because we looked at Manchester United not long ago, and we were saying, oh, Man United are awful. They're sitting down like bottom half of the table. They can't do anything. And then all of a sudden, now people are saying Manchester United are title contenders after a few good games. And it's I think people are being very reactionary to say that that's it, top 4's gone, challenger for the title's gone, all that sort of stuff, because a few results go our way with our opposition, and we get a couple wins, and we're right back in there. Like, we're not far off. So I do want people to sort of calm it down a bit. I always try my best not to make any bold statements after a defeat, because your emotions are running crazy, and you're angry, you're disappointed, you're let down, and you just want to spout out what's the problem. You're trying to find an exact problem. You're trying to scapegoat. You're saying, this guy isn't good enough, that guy isn't good enough. And eventually you'll land on someone that you can pick out a good, some value, some genuine criticism, but then is it fair? And I don't think the criticism on Lampard at the moment is fair. People saying he's playing Timo Werner out of position. Timo Werner has played as a winger. Technically, he's probably more of an inside forward a lot of his career. And you can't say that Timo Werner hasn't had the chances. How many times have we seen him miss a shot when he should be scoring it? That's not a problem. That's not Lampard's problem. Lampard's problem is to get him into those positions. He, set up a team in a way that supplies our strikers, our wingers with chances. And Timo Werner, I think, has the highest expected goals of our team. So he should have scored the most goals, yet he hasn't. And that's on Timo Werner. That's a confidence issue in himself that he needs to work through. So I don't blame Lampard for that. People saying, he played Mason Mount out of position on the wing. We had a lot of injuries and someone had to play out on the wing. And unfortunately it was Mason, and he received a lot of criticism for that. And I don't know, there's a lot of problems that I don't see eye to eye with. Of course, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. So I would never say that your opinion is wrong. I can say that I don't agree with it, but I wouldn't say it's wrong. Just as anyone hopefully watching this video doesn't now come at me saying you're wrong, Lampard's a bad manager, that I've been seeing in my comment section, and on social media. Everyone's trying to tell each other that they're wrong. They're not. They just have a differing opinion to you, and we need to learn to respect that in the football community, because that's not something you often see. And hopefully we can create an environment here on the Pride London YouTube channel where we can all respect each other's opinions, even if they do differ vastly from each other. And that's what's healthy. You can have a conversation and sort of come to your differences and realize that maybe they have fair points, maybe they don't, but you don't have to tell them they're wrong. That's going to be the end of the video, guys. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.